Welcome to the program once more. My name is Abdiaziz, Hashim, and a sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Joyce Wairimu. And we start at Afya House, where Health Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Mercy Mwangangi announced that the government has introduced a new measure to ensure compliance with the curfew hours in the fight against COVID-19. Dr. Mwangangi said that Kenyans found outside of their houses during the said period will now be assumed to have contacted suspected cases of coronavirus and hence placed under quarantine. And as our reporter Jeff Khayamba reports, cases of COVID-19 has jumped to 270 after 8 cases were confirmed today in the evening. Have a look.
After Nairobi County was listed as a hotspot area with COVID-19, penetrating into all estates, things are not different from Mombasa County. Health Chief Administrative Secretary Mercy Mwangangi, while giving the daily briefs, says despite the efforts being put in place to combat the virus in Mombasa County, the situation might just fall apart.
The situation in Mombasa is not any better. Kwa sasa, Nyali inaongoza na kesi 11, ikifuata na Mvita na kesi 7, Kisauni 7, Changamwe 2. Na kule ndani Nyali, karibu kila kona kuna kesi ya corona. Bamburi 2, Beach Road 1, Mamba Village 1, Mogadishu 1, Mkomani Tamarind 1, Maweni Kongowea 1, Twiga Road 1 na Umoja 1.
Mombasa County Governor Hassan Joho, in collaboration with the national government, has intensified the measures not limited to the mass testing, even as the deadly coronavirus continues to be a killer monster.
Kwa hivyo huu ugonjwa umeenea kila pahali Mombasa. Ni jukumu la kila Mkenya kumshika mkono gavana wa Mombasa Ali Hassan Joho pamoja na serikali kuu kuongeza juhudi za kukabiliana na hili janga.
In a bid to contain the spread of the virus further, the government has tightened the belt by imposing heavy penalties to those violating the curfew hours. Some of the Kenyans, despite the order, have hell-bent by roaming around towns, estates and villages.
We have activated the Nyumba Kumi initiative, and further to this, we shall now utilize technology in tracking and surveillance of any members of the public who are congregating post-curfew hours. Going forward, fellow Kenyans, all those who break the curfew rules will be assumed to have been in contact with suspected cases and hence will be quarantined for a period of 14 days.
The government has also put on notice some of the unscrupulous traders hoarding for the reused masks.
We have received disturbing news that some unscrupulous persons are recycling face masks after collecting them from bins and selling them to unsuspecting Kenyans. In particular, we've noticed the recycling of the surgical masks, and we've seen different pictures in social media. And we therefore say that this is unacceptable and this is actually criminal.
On Sunday, the cases of the COVID-19 ballooned up to 270 after 8 new cases were confirmed. Besides some recovering, an indication of hope to the Kenyans.
7 are Kenyans and 1 is a foreign national. And none of these cases has a history of travel. 3 emanated from our quarantine centers and 5 were picked by our surveillance teams from various parts of the country. 4 are from Mombasa, 3 Nairobi, 1 Kajiado, and all aged between the ages of 17 and 65 years old. I'm glad to also announce that we have 7 other discharges today, taking the number of recoveries to 67. Sadly, however, we have lost 2 more, thus raising the number of total deaths to 14. So far, we have succeeded in containing the imports, and in the last few days, the very few cases are emanating from our regional quarantine centers. Therefore, fellow Kenyans, we are now worried about local transmission.
So far, more than 2.3 million people have been infected with the coronavirus, with more than 160,000 deaths reported. About 600,000 people have recovered from the disease. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khayamba.
Still with our daily brief, Education Cabinet Secretary, that is Professor George Magoha, has come out to reassure parents that the government remains optimistic that the coronavirus pandemic will not interfere with the national examination calendar. Professor Magoha said students are undergoing online learning, adding that the Education Ministry has not considered postponing this year's KCPE or KCSE exams.
And for the avoidance of doubt, I want to restate as follows, that up to this moment, nobody has thought of postponing the examinations, the national examinations, both the primary school exams and the secondary school exams. And to the best of the government's ability, the children are getting online learning, as I stated last week. I am aware that the parents are very, very apprehensive, but they should be fair to themselves, because government has not pronounced itself that the exam will be postponed. And after His Excellency the President concurs with what the Ministry of Education has methodically gone through, I hope that during the course of next week, we shall tell you the various scenarios that we have come up with, and not all of them involve a doomsday situation. And since we are very optimistic, I still refuse to be guided by the fearmongers. To the extent of the preparedness of the competency-based curriculum, I would like to state that we have slowed down on preparing for the materials that will be used for grade 5 next year.
Now to a rather tragic turn of events. 4 people, among them a police officer, died following heavy rains that triggered a mudslide at Chesagong Trading Center on the border of West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, that is George Natembeya, said at least 23 other people have also since been reported missing. This comes after government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna said that 3 persons who sustained serious injuries and in the incident were to be airlifted to the Eldoret for a specialized treatment.
Barely 4 months ago, after more than 58 people were buried alive due to floods and mudslides in West Pokot County, things got thick as a similar picture was painted on Saturday. Massive landslides coupled with floods rocked Chesagong West Pokot Elgeyo Marakwet border, with several people feared death. In the incident that occurred on Saturday afternoon, several people are still missing with the houses, schools including a police station being swept away in the raging floods and mudslides across villages.
Tukasikia ngurumo ikilio. Tukajiuliza hii ni ngurumo ya nini? Hii ni katapila ama ni nini? Muda si muda, tukasikia nduru kutoka sehemu hii ya Literi. Watu wakasema watu wote wameisha Chesagong.
Mvua kubwa ikatokea mlima na ikaanza sasa kunguruma, ikanguruma. Tukafikiria ni ndege, tukafikiria tu ni ndege. Haifiki ndege, haifiki. Kidogo wakatupigia simu, watu wa Marakwet wakatupigia simu, wakatuambia mtoke hapa. Kwa sababu hata penye tumeishi ni mali maji inaweza pita tena. Sasa inatubidi tuende tupika saidi mapema hii na tuende tulala kwa mlima sasa.
Both young and the elderly are seen scampering for safety in the deadly floods. This is a motorcycle operator caught in the melee. He is torn in between on whether he should have his motorcycle or let it go, only to realize his life is more precious, and so he decides to do the obvious, to save his life. The floods got many families in their houses as they rushed to take refuge from the stormy rain that was out of the ordinary.
Senior Chief Jamale Benjamin, Kipoko location. Mpaka saa hizi hao watu wako alive, lakini hatujapata kujua kwamba ni wangapi wamekufa mpaka saa hizi, lakini mimi najua watu 5 wangali missing. Na mpaka saa hizi senda ya Chesagong ni chapati. Uwezi ona mahali kulikuwa na mabati wala nini, ni mawe tubu saa hizi.
Na sijawahi ona kitu kama hii maisha yangu. So nataka niseme kwamba nafikiri serikali labda na zile mashirika ambayo inahusika waje hapa tuone vile tutasaidia wananchi hapa.
Matokeo ni haya ambayo mmeona. Millions and millions of rocks. Tujui vile ilitoka. Damage tumepata hapa ni kubwa, lakini tu nataka niwaambie Wakenya wanatusikiza sababu msimu wa mvua imeanza. Naona mahali ilikatika ni huko milima. Na nataka tuniombe kwamba tujaribu to keep off kidogo kutoka milima.
There are no official report on the exact number of the houses that were swept away, the number of the individual missing or dead. The officials say the rescue operations are being affected by the hostile weather. The deadly mudslide comes after the Kenya Meteorological Department warned the Kenyans to brace themselves for heavy rainfall in the next 4 days that may result in flooding and landslides. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khaimba.
Well, it is a story that we're keeping an eye on and will inform you in our subsequent bulletins. In other news, a poll released by Infotrack showed that 78% of Kenyans are worried that there are probably many Kenyans who already are infected with COVID-19 disease but are not aware if they have it. This comes as the government rolls out a mass testing for COVID-19 in hopes of controlling the spread of the virus.
Observe those guidelines.
According to Infotrack, generally, 75% of Kenyans are worried with the coronavirus situation in the country. 50% are extremely worried, 25% are worried, 11% are somewhat worried, while 14% are not worried at all.
This matter is one of grave concern for all of us. And you will see from the findings that 50% of the respondents indicated that they're extremely worried about the virus, the outbreak of the virus.
78% of Kenyans are concerned that there are many Kenyans in the country with COVID-19 but are not yet aware they have it. 76% are concerned that Kenya does not have enough resources to cope with large-scale pandemic, while another 76% of Kenyans believe that they will not be able to make ends meet should the pandemic persist. And 73% of Kenyans are concerned that Kenya does not have enough hospital beds to cope with large-scale pandemic.
The worry stems from a number of issues. Of course, the economy has come to a standstill. If you know, it's not a stretch. It's not beyond the realm of possibility or imagination to say that there's not much happening right now in terms of economic activity, based really on the limitations on our movement right now and the stay-at-home orders and all these things.
The poll has also established that the coronavirus pandemic has affected Kenyans financially and health-wise. 63% of Kenyans say coronavirus concerns them both as a personal health issue and a personal financial issue.
Now, in terms of stakeholder performance in dealing with the virus, we find that health workers, particularly the Minister of Health, the media, and the President have scored very favorably. And if I just direct you to the column there highlighted in purple, we find that 58% of Kenyans think that health workers are doing either an excellent or good job.
The COVID-19 situation in the country has affected many Kenyans psychologically, and according to statistics, 82% feel anxious, 72% are keen on following the COVID-19 updates on news channels, 65% are confused about what is happening, while 60% are feeling confined and trapped. While Kenyans appreciate the effort made by the president to cushion the country during this COVID-19 crisis, many feel that he could do more. 50% of Kenyans want the president to offer a weekly stipend to Kenyans who are vulnerable in the country. 39% wants the president to ensure every Kenyan has access to affordable health care. 32% wants the president to ensure that vulnerable Kenyans are exempted from paying rent, while 23% wants the government to ensure that no Kenyan will lose their job. This poll was conducted by Infotrack between 30th March and 2nd April, and it covered 24 counties out of the 47 counties in the country. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Busara Naaman.
Busaranaman, thank you. Now to other news. Outspoken Nakuru MCA Karanja Mburu has passed on following road accident along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. In his message of condolence, Deputy President Dr. William Samoei Ruto termed Peter, the deceased, as a humble, devoted and distinguished politician who selflessly served the people of Lakeview Ward in Nakuru County. Kaindo Stefano with more on that particular story.
The early morning accident near the Atomite Center in Gilgil occurred after Karanja Mburu's vehicle veered off the road, rolled and crashed on a tree, killing him instantly.
We have lost a very, very promising young man, a very good MCA who has been very active in the assembly. And we are saddened. As you can see, all MCAs are here. They have come here because he has been working very closely with all the MCAs, and we are saddened this morning to announce that he has left us.
Leo hapa tuko hapa Gilgil ambapo tunashughulikia ili tuweze kupanga sasa mikakati ya kupumzisha, na hivyo tunasema pole kwa hilo janga ambalo limetupata, na tunasema pole sana kwa familia na watu ya Lakeview Ward.
Karanja, who is a major critic of Nakuru County government, was alone during the accident and was on his way to Nakuru from Naivasha.
Tumeona tumepoteza kiongozi na tunasema ya kwamba Kenya hususan vijana wamempoteza kiongozi ambaye tulikuwa hata Naivasha na Nakuru. Watu hata walikuwa wameanza kusema ya kwamba huyu ni kiongozi ambaye angekuwa seneta wetu, na kwa hivyo tuliona ya kwamba alikuwa na maisha yake ilikuwa mazuri.
And we received a report from the chief this morning. We rushed to the scene. And found that the motor vehicle he was driving from Gilgil directions to Nakuru had rolled.
The first-time and vocal MCA was a member of the disaster committee, which is currently involved in distributing relief food to families affected by COVID-19. Former Naivasha MP John Mutuda was among the first to send his condolences, terming the deceased as a youthful leader who had a bright future. The body was taken to Gilgil mortuary, while the mangled wreck was towed to Gilgil police station. For Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
Now to what many have termed as a selfless act as the government intensifies the war against the spread of COVID-19 epidemic. A youthful police officer in Elgeyo Marakwet has captured the attention of many Kenyans after making masks and distributing them for free time to the area residents in a bid to protect them from the COVID-19 infection. Caroline McKenna, who is a police constable at the Tot police station, says the move was inspired by her own struggle to acquire a face mask when it was pronounced mandatory for everyone to wear a mask. Here is her story that was prepared by our very own Winnie Lubembe.
29-year-old McKenna says the situation was bad that she was forced to acquire a mask in Eldoret town, which is over 100 kilometers away from her station in the remote area of Tot.
It was an urgent operation that I was supposed to act upon. Then the mask would have delayed me. So when the mask came, I bought two at 200 shillings. And when I looked at it, I didn't see anything special with the mask. In fact, it was a two-layered mask.
Devastated by this, she decided to take matters into her own hands and make masks. Ms. McKenna further says she undertook the task following Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe's plea to the youth to take charge of the war against COVID-19.
With the new NEMA paper bags, the carrier bags, I sent someone who bought me 50 pieces at 350. I also sent for a thread at 20 shillings. So I didn't buy the elastic because I didn't like them. They were really pulling my ears.
McKenna, who learnt of the craft during her stint at the National Youth Service, got a little donation of 1,000 shillings from her sister, who liked her idea, and she bought the necessary material needed to make the masks.
The first day I got challenges. I destroyed a lot of materials. They were spoiled. But for the second and the third day, I think that's when experience got into me and I could make something like this.
Now, after completing her police duties, including enforcing the curfew, Miss McKenna retreats back to a small office at Tot Police Station, where she makes about 50 masks daily for free distribution to the vulnerable in society. According to Linus Rutuk, Deputy County Commissioner, Tot Division, the selfless act by Constable McKenna is to be emulated.
The border guys, the women in the market, and so forth. She's been using resources to provide the same. And this is a good case in terms of fighting the coronavirus pandemic. We know that to be able to win this war, we must come collectively to ensure that we adhere to the regulations.
McKenna, who is changing the lives of Tot residents, was posted in the area in 2016 and is the only female police officer out of the dozen in the station. Minnie Lubembe for Ebru TV.
Remarkable. Caroline McKenna, keep up the good work. Let's head over to Mombasa County now, where as the country grapples with the surging pandemic, that is the coronavirus pandemic, there is need to focus on the impact it has on mentally ill people. Mombasa Women Empowerment Network Chair, that is Amina Abdallah, says coronavirus poses new challenges for many with mental illness, and this needs special focus from the authorities and other stakeholders.
The activist said while everyone is being encouraged to stay at home as part of the guidelines to limit the spread of COVID-19, people with mental health illness have been neglected.
Wagonjwa wengi wa akili hivi sasa wako nje mabarabarani na wanaathirika kulingana na haya maradhi ya corona. Serikali inapoangalia watu binafsi ambao wana afya zao, kuhakikisha kwamba wametarget watapeleka vyakula kila sehemu. Swali langu ni kuuliza kwamba hawa wagonjwa ambao wanaugua akili wako mabarabarani kila sehemu katika hii Mombasa County, serikali imepanga nini? Kwa sababu hakuna njia wanaweza lockdown wananchi wa kawaida kule ndani, halafu sasa hawa wengine wanazunguka kama wanyama, hawana kwa kwenda.
Most of the mentally sick people used to eat food disposed by hotels and restaurants in the region, but now hotels have closed during this period as the Minister of Health intensifies the war against COVID-19. As someone who also works with the mentally ill, Ms. Abdallah says there is need to give special attention to those with severe mental illnesses.
Hawa watu walikuwa wanakula mpaka kwenye mapipa ya restaurant. Leo hii hakuna restaurant zinazo operate, zimefungwa. Je, hawa wanakula wapi? Hilo ni swali lazima tujiulize. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba serikali ichukulie na uzito ya kwamba hawa watu wanaugua na si kupenda kwao. Wakati wanaona kansa, wakati wanaona HIV, haya pia ni maradhi. Hiyo ndio kitu ambacho mimi kilio changu leo kiko katika serikali.
Her organization rounded several mentally sick people from the streets of Mombasa and taken them to rehabilitation centers where they were later to rejoin their families. The organization targets to round up over 100 persons with mental illness.
Kwa hivyo mimi naiomba serikali inapopanga mipangilio yao ijue kwamba anayeugua akili nje anahitaji zaidi mahitaji, na yeye pia yuko katika high risk ya kushikwa katika haya magonjwa ya corona. Kwa hivyo naomba serikali ikiwa kweli imeamua kusaidia mwananchi wa chini pale kuhakikisha kwamba maisha yake wakati kama huu wamemweka vizuri, basi watupatie mwelekeo ya watu wanaougua akili katika Mombasa County, kwa sababu hivi sasa ninavyosema namba iko zaidi ya 100.
Ms. Abdallah says the society seems to have rejected mentally sick people and left them to wander in the streets without care, even during this time when the country is faced by the novel coronavirus.
Kenyan High Commissioner to London, that is Manoa Esipisu, has urged Kenyans in the United Kingdom who are willing to be evacuated to Kenya will be evacuated at their own coast. Esipisu says that they have received numerous calls from Kenyans who are stranded in London after their flights were cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic. Esipisu has also confirmed that they are working with the Foreign Ministry to ensure that the said Kenyans are brought back home safely. Welcome to the world of sport. Football Kenya Federation has come out to explain why the national football team players are yet to get their winning bonuses following the 3-2 win against Tanzania at the 2019 African Cup of Nations. Now, the federation stresses that it had not factored in money meant for paying bonuses in the budget it presented to the government prior to the tournament. FKF says that the Ministry of Sports has failed to honor its promise to pay the national team players 10 million for every win recorded during the tournament played in Egypt. And that marks the end of our bulletin this evening. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim, and our sign language interpreter has been Joyce Wairimu. And a big thanks to the team in the gallery and here in the studio that have made this production successful. Remember, stay home and stay safe. Good evening.